For all appearances, Rock Hudson seemed to be central casting for the Hollywood heartthrob.
Hollywood has always been a place of glamour, romance, and larger-than-life personalities. But behind the carefully curated images of movie stars, there existed a hidden world of scandal, obsession, and indulgence. While some celebrities tried to maintain their clean-cut reputations, others embraced their wild sides, indulging in passionate affairs, secret rendezvous, and shocking lifestyles. The golden age of Hollywood was especially notorious for covering up its biggest scandals. Studios worked tirelessly to protect their stars' images, hiding affairs, destroying evidence, and keeping their biggest moneymakers out of trouble. Yet, despite their efforts, stories of Hollywood's most passionate and adventurous figures continue to emerge. In this video, we will take a deep dive into the lives of 20 of Hollywood's biggest sex freaks, stars known for their extreme passions, unconventional relationships, and uninhibited lifestyles. Some of these stories are legendary, while others have remained buried for decades. Let's pull back the curtain and uncover the truth. Errol Flynn, the ultimate playboy. Errol Flynn wasn't just a Hollywood heartthrob, he was the embodiment of hedonism. Best known for his swashbuckling roles in films like The Adventures of Robin Hood, 1938, Flynn's real-life persona was just as daring as his on-screen characters. His infamous nickname, In Like Flynn, referred to his uncanny ability to seduce women with ease. His mansion in the Hollywood Hills became the epicenter of wild parties, where guests were encouraged to explore their adventurous sides. Flynn surrounded himself with beautiful women, many of whom later spoke about his undeniable charm and insatiable appetite for pleasure. However, Flynn's lifestyle also led to serious legal troubles. In 1942, he was accused of statutory assault, a scandal that nearly ended his career. Though he was acquitted, his reputation as Hollywood's ultimate playboy remained intact. His memoir, My Wicked, Wicked Ways, later confirmed that his life was as wild as the rumors suggested, if not more. While Errol Flynn's exploits were well known, some stars kept their passions far more secret. Joan Crawford, one of Hollywood's most glamorous leading ladies, had a hidden side that few truly understood. Joan Crawford, Hollywood's secret seductress. Joan Crawford was the epitome of old-school Hollywood elegance. But behind closed doors, she was rumored to have an uninhibited love life that defied the industry's strict expectations. Known for her striking beauty and intense ambition, Crawford was said to have had secret affairs with both men and women, including rumored flings with Marilyn Monroe and Barbara Stanwyck. In her early years, it was alleged that she appeared in risque photos, which MGM executives later worked hard to destroy to maintain her polished image. While publicly she married 4 times, insiders whispered about her many secret lovers, some of whom were studio executives, directors, and fellow actors. Her private letters and diaries later hinted at a much wilder personal life than she ever let on. Crawford carefully maintained her public persona, but those who knew her best claimed she was one of the most passionate women in Hollywood. While Joan Crawford carefully hid her wild side, Marlon Brando refused to play by Hollywood's rules. He openly pursued his desires, regardless of what the industry thought. Marlon Brando, unapologetically open. Marlon Brando was one of Hollywood's greatest actors, but he was also one of its most unapologetic lovers. He was known for having relationships with both men and women, once stating that he was attracted to anyone who caught his eye. Brando's affairs included some of the biggest names in Hollywood, including Marilyn Monroe, James Dean, and countless others. His relationships were unconventional and intense, often defying the industry's conservative norms. While most male actors were forced to hide same-sex encounters, Brando openly admitted to his sexual fluidity, caring little about Hollywood's expectations. His biographers later revealed that he lived without boundaries, indulging in passionate affairs across decades. Brando's personal life was just as legendary as his performances, making him one of the most complex figures in Hollywood history. While Brando was breaking taboos, Mae West was rewriting the rules for women in Hollywood. She built an empire on embracing desire and refusing to be controlled. Mae West, Hollywood's original femme fatale. Before Marilyn Monroe, there was Mae West, the woman who made innuendo an art form. Known for her suggestive humor and scandalous film roles, West was one of the first female stars to embrace her own sexuality rather than be controlled by Hollywood's double standards. She was so ahead of her time that she was arrested for indecency after writing and starring in her own racy stage play. While other actresses conformed to the industry's expectations, West surrounded herself with younger men well into her later years and never apologized for it. Rumors swirled about the private gatherings she hosted, events so scandalous that even Hollywood's elite were left shocked. West never denied the rumors, often saying, "I only have one rule, keep it hot." While Mae West proudly owned her wild side, some stars had their personal lives turned into public controversy. Charlie Chaplin, one of the biggest icons in film history, had a private life filled with controversy. Charlie Chaplin, silent film's wildest star. Charlie Chaplin may have been Hollywood's beloved silent film comedian, but his personal life was anything but funny. Despite his wholesome on-screen image, Chaplin was notorious for his relationships with young women, many of whom were decades younger than him. Chaplin married multiple teenage girls, including his 16-year-old bride when he was 54. His numerous affairs with silent film actresses and co-stars fueled endless speculation, and his questionable relationships nearly got him banned from Hollywood. Eventually, Chaplin's personal scandals caught up with him. Accusations of impropriety and his political beliefs led to him being exiled from the U.S. for nearly 20 years. Though he remains one of the greatest filmmakers of all time, his personal history is one of Hollywood's most controversial. While Charlie Chaplin's scandals were public knowledge, Marilyn Monroe lived in a world of hidden affairs, unspoken passions, and deep loneliness. Marilyn Monroe, the ultimate sex symbol. Marilyn Monroe is still considered the greatest sex symbol in Hollywood history. Her beauty and charm captivated the world, but behind her glamorous image was a woman struggling to navigate an industry that saw her as an object rather than a person. Monroe was romantically linked to some of the most powerful men of her time, including President John F. Kennedy, Frank Sinatra, and Marlon Brando. Hollywood insiders whispered about her affairs with both men and women, but Monroe was trapped in a world that exploited her rather than supported her. Her diaries revealed a woman torn between passion and pain. She craved love and affection, but was repeatedly used by the powerful men around her. Ultimately, Monroe's life ended in tragedy, but her legend as Hollywood's ultimate symbol of desire remains unshaken. Howard Hughes, billionaire with an obsession. Howard Hughes was more than just a wealthy businessman. He was one of Hollywood's most eccentric figures, known for his obsessive behavior and insatiable desire for control. As a filmmaker and aviation mogul, Hughes used his influence to surround himself with Hollywood's most beautiful actresses, often pursuing them with relentless determination. Hughes was notorious for keeping detailed records on every woman he pursued. He documented their interests, routines, and even personal habits, creating elaborate files that read more like intelligence reports than romantic pursuits. Some of his most famous lovers included Katharine Hepburn, Ava Gardner, and Lana Turner. But many of these relationships came at a cost, as Hughes had a reputation for being controlling and possessive. As he grew older, his obsessions became even stranger. Hughes developed an extreme fear of germs, isolating himself in darkened hotel rooms for months at a time. His relationships with women became increasingly transactional, with him offering fame and fortune in exchange for companionship. His story remains one of the most bizarre examples of Hollywood excess and control. While Hughes controlled women's lives with his wealth, other Hollywood stars were forced to hide their true selves. Rock Hudson, one of the biggest heartthrobs of his time, had to live a double life in an era that refused to accept who he really was. Rock Hudson, Hollywood's hidden heartthrob. Rock Hudson was the definition of a Hollywood leading man, handsome, charming, and the perfect romantic hero on screen. But behind his carefully crafted image, he was forced to hide a secret that could have ended his career. In the 1950s and 60s, Homosexuality was considered unacceptable in Hollywood, and Hudson's studio worked hard to maintain the illusion that he was a ladies' man. He was set up on public dates with actresses and even entered a marriage arranged by the studio to keep his true relationships hidden. Despite being one of the most desirable men in Hollywood, Hudson lived in fear of exposure. It wasn't until his tragic death from AIDS in 1985 that the truth about his life became widely known. His story highlighted the brutal reality of Hollywood's control over its stars' personal lives. While Hudson was forced to conform to Hollywood's image, Tallulah Bankhead was one of the few women who lived exactly as she pleased, regardless of what anyone thought. Tallulah Bankhead, unapologetically wild. Tallulah Bankhead was one of Hollywood's most rebellious and uninhibited stars. Known for her husky voice and magnetic presence, she refused to abide by the conservative standards of the time. She openly pursued relationships with both men and women, frequently boasting about her romantic conquests. Hollywood gossip linked her to stars like Greta Garbo, Billie Holiday, and multiple politicians. But Bankhead never tried to hide who she was. She threw lavish parties where anything and everything was rumored to happen, earning her a reputation as one of Hollywood's most scandalous figures. Despite her talent, Bankhead's wild reputation often overshadowed her career. She remained fearless, even as Hollywood grew less tolerant of women who lived on their own terms. While Bankhead flaunted her love life, James Dean kept much of his personal affairs shrouded in mystery. His early death left behind many unanswered questions about who he really was. James Dean, Hollywood's rebel with a cause. James Dean became a Hollywood legend after starring in just 3 films, but his off-screen life remains one of the industry's greatest mysteries. His rebellious nature extended beyond his roles. He was rumored to have relationships with both men and women, despite the conservatism of the era. Close friendships with male directors and producers, including rumors of an affair with his mentor Rogers Brackett, fueled speculation about his true personal life. Some biographers suggest that Dean struggled with his identity, caught between the expectations of Hollywood and his own desires. Dean's tragic death in a car crash at just 24 years old left many unanswered questions. His diaries and letters hinted at a far more complex love life than the public ever knew, making him one of the most enigmatic figures in Hollywood history. While James Dean's relationships remain mysterious, Warren Beatty made no secret of his reputation as one of Hollywood's greatest womanizers. Warren Beatty, the ultimate Hollywood Casanova. Warren Beatty wasn't just a Hollywood star, he was a legend when it came to romance. According to his biographer, Beatty reportedly slept with over 12,000 women, making him one of the most prolific lovers in Hollywood history. Linked to some of the most famous women in entertainment, Beatty was romantically involved with Madonna, Julie Christie, Diane Keaton, and countless others. His charm and good looks made him irresistible, but he also had a well-known fear of commitment, avoiding marriage until much later in life. His real-life persona mirrored his on-screen roles. He played smooth-talking, womanizing characters in films like Shampoo, 1975, and Bonnie and Clyde, 1967. Whether fact or exaggeration, Beatty's reputation as Hollywood's ultimate ladies' man remains legendary. While Warren Beatty became famous for his long list of lovers, Elizabeth Taylor became known for her passionate and often scandalous romances. Elizabeth Taylor, the woman who lived for love. Elizabeth Taylor's life was defined by love, passion, and scandal. Married 8 times to 7 different men, Taylor never hesitated to follow her heart, no matter the consequences. Her affair with Richard Burton was one of the most talked-about romances in Hollywood history. Their love was passionate, dramatic, and filled with fiery arguments. Despite their intense connection, they divorced, only to remarry and divorce again. Taylor was also rumored to have had flings with some of Hollywood's most powerful men. No matter how much the press criticized her for her many marriages, she remained unapologetic about her choices. She proved that love, no matter how messy, was worth pursuing. While Elizabeth Taylor followed her heart, Hugh Hefner built an empire around indulgence and sexuality, turning Hollywood's obsession with beauty into a business. Hugh Hefner, the Playboy King of Hollywood. Hugh Hefner was the mastermind behind Playboy, a brand that became synonymous with excess, luxury, and beautiful women. His famous mansion became a gathering place for Hollywood's elite, where parties of legendary proportions took place. Surrounded by young models, Hefner carefully cultivated an image of wealth, desire, and freedom. However, many later criticized his lifestyle, claiming he exerted extreme control over the women in his inner circle. Allegations of manipulation and exploitation emerged, raising questions about whether Hefner was empowering women or simply using them for his own satisfaction. Hollywood has always thrived on desire, secrecy, and controversy. From the Golden Age's hidden affairs to today's viral celebrity romances, the industry remains a place where passion and power collide. While some stars were forced to hide their true selves, others embraced their wild lifestyles, leaving behind legacies filled with both admiration and scandal. Even as times change, Hollywood's obsession with image and excess remains. Today, social media and paparazzi have replaced studio-controlled narratives, but the hunger for celebrity gossip is stronger than ever. The public still craves stories of love affairs, shocking revelations, and behind-the-scenes drama. The only difference is that now, the stars themselves have more control over what they reveal. But has Hollywood truly evolved? Or is it just better at packaging its secrets? Many of the same dynamics, powerful men controlling young talent, stars being forced to maintain public images, and the industry's relentless pursuit of perfection still exist. The scandals may look different, but the system remains eerily familiar. One thing is certain: the allure of Hollywood's wild side isn't going anywhere. These stories remind us that beneath the glamour, fame often comes at a price. The question is, how much of it is real, and how much is just another Hollywood illusion? What do you think? Has Hollywood truly changed, or are the secrets just better hidden? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into Hollywood's most scandalous stars, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more. Until next time, keep questioning what's behind the curtain.